Hello and welcome to this video series where two randomly selected games from my game collection go head to head against each other. And well, with my game collection being somewhat massive, my calculations being that there's still 773 games still yet to be chosen, we will never truly know what two types of games will be facing off against each other. It could be a very obscure RPG versus a very well-known sports game. Or it can be a very enduring classic portable title versus one of the worst games of all time. But we just won't know until the wheel has spun. Which brings me to today's spinnings. Let's see what we get. And now for my second spin. And there we have it, our two games going up against each other today. Golf for the NES and Tetris for the iPhone. And well, starting off here with golf, we have a game that kind of just worms its way into just about everyone's NES collections, going on to become an iconic game for the system, as well as I believe one of the most sold. But despite all that, it's not a game I've actually ever played before, since I'm not really into sports titles, especially more so when it's not a football or a racing game. But either way, I still sat down and I still played through the 18 holes that the game had to offer. And well, if I'm being perfectly honest, the game is just fine. I mean, I had really no clue what I was doing, what club to use or how much power to use. I was just happy to eventually get the ball in no matter how many strokes it took. But again, just not a game that's my speed. If I was into golf or just sports games in general, maybe, but no. But anyway, that covers golf. Now onto my next game here. That being the app version of Tetris. And well, I assume we all know what Tetris is. It's the eternal puzzle game that involves you needing to put down several differently shaped blocks in a line in order to make them disappear and then give you more space to continue doing so, with obviously it getting faster in order to make it more difficult. And well, Tetris has come out many times throughout the years in many different forms, with this being more or less just its regular form except for one caveat, that being that you're playing it with touchscreen controls, which I'm not personally the biggest fan of. I just never really liked this type of control unless it's a game specifically built for it. And yes, that includes Tetris, as this is already a game that I don't particularly do well at to begin with, so now adding in touch controls to be precise with is not going to end well. I'm more likely to accidentally tap or swipe down a piece into a place I really didn't want it to go to. But I suppose at the end of the day, this is still just Tetris, just not a version of it I would particularly pick when wanting to play it. But anyway, that covers this game. And now we must answer the question of which of these two games would I rather play. And well, unfortunately, this is yet another episode of Foregone Conclusions after seeing all the evidence for both of the games. Since I made it very clear that although I don't think there's anything wrong with golf for the NES, I just wasn't a big fan of it. And although I much rather play a game that doesn't have touch controls, at the end of the day it's still Tetris at its core. It's still one of the best puzzle games of all time. So congratulations to the app version of Tetris. You managed to outbrick your opponent who couldn't even manage to get a single hole-in-one. And that concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time to see which two new games will go head-to-head against each other. Bye for now.